Tales of Zestiria. The X, or the Cross, Episode 5. You know, Tales of Zestiria definitely has had its good points, I will give it that. But one thing that it has always done that bothers me is Sorey's character. Okay, he wasn't really that bad in the game, I would say. From half of what I, played, I mean, I got up to the Lord of Calamity arc, and then how Rose ends up becoming, part of Sorey's pack, so to speak. But I didn't really, complete the whole story when it comes to the game. But the thing that I noticed is that Sorey's character, when it comes down to his character in the game, he was not as bad as Sorey in the anime. Sorey's character, okay, he's definitely not the best character, and I'm probably sure everyone can agree with me on this. He's stale. He's really stale as a character, and he complains all the flippin' time. All the time. Like, all he can basically talk about is, I'm going to be the strongest person I can be in order to bring peace throughout the land. But I have to do that by malevolence. I have to get rid of the malevolence. I mean, malevolence. I mean, Lila, malevolence. Oh, this must be, the cause of malevolence. Malevolence. How many times I have heard that in this series? I'm just like, please stop. Okay, just stop. Let's actually get to the good points. Because when it comes down to Season 2, I personally think that Season 1 was actually a whole lot better than Season 2 of Tales of Zestiria. Tales of Zestiria has just been... It's too much dialogue. And don't get me wrong, I love narrative-driven, stories. I personally do. However, the way they execute it is completely different from what Tales of Zestiria does. There's just too much dialogue in this series and little conflict. When there is conflict, it only lasts for like a few minutes. Okay, it's not really that grandiose, I guess you would say. This episode actually opened up very, very good, in my personal opinion. What we saw in the cliffhanger of last week's episode, we come to find out that actually Rose's ex-lover, so to speak, the one that she was going to marry, is actually a Hellion, and she actually did stab him, but apparently, he stopped the blades, and I thought that was actually kind of weird, because I personally thought that Sorey was going to eventually, come in to block the blades, because all he really had to do was just call on Lila, Miklia, or Edna, or someone like that, and by doing that, he can speed across, to Rose's pace, and actually take the blow for Sorey's ex-lover. And as we know, Sorey doesn't want, more violence to consume more violence, because if there is more violence, it would just bring up more violence, just like how I stated before, and this will cause more malevolence to bring about. Again, Sorey's talking about malevolence. But the whole battle that took place between Sorey, Rose, and the Hellion, her ex-lover, was actually pretty good. I really like the animation from that. The water even looked great in this episode. The water looked great. But I digress. The whole fight that ended up playing out for the first, 5 minutes of the episode, I guess you would say, it was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it, and I really wish, these fights would be used in moderation of, in Tales of Zestiria, because they are just so, they don't really have an impact on the story. Let's put this, for example. In Season 1, when we first saw the Lord of Calamity, okay, he completely, just disappeared, after that so-called appearance with him, okay, or that so-called fight that Sorey and, the rest of his team never fought the Lord of Calamity. He only just appeared out of thin air, and as we know, the Lord of Calamity is the person who has brought about this malevolence in the first place, so in order to defeat him, or in order to defeat malevolence, get rid of it, you would have to beat the Lord of Calamity. But after that brief introduction, all we see from, the rest of the season and from what we have seen this season, I just imagine, the Lord of Calamity just up in a cloud, just like, anytime now, hopefully Sorey, comes down so we can actually progress the story. I mean, I'm kind of getting tired here. And as viewers, I'm pretty sure we are getting tired of this as well. One of the good points of this episode, it also brought about a little more into Rose's past, which I thought was pretty interesting because, like the last few episodes, I really did think that Rose's past was quite interesting, and we get a little bit more of that, especially how, she ended up finding Brad in the first place. We had these other band of thieves completely scavenging remains of this decimated town, and Rose was the only survivor from this, and I really don't know if the thieves were going to take her in as, like, some sort of this prop, so to speak, a little child, because, when it comes to these sort of things, you could expect the worst for a child. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But then Brad's team ends up showing up and completely punches these guys in the face, and they end up completely, just running away. They're like, yeah, we're gone. This guy seems to, he's scary. He's a buff dude. I'm getting the hell out of here. And then this is where we see Brad end up taking Rose under his wing. So it was kind of cool seeing the interaction between Rose and Brad, how they first ended up meeting. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, when it comes down to the last part of this episode, we get to see Sorey talking about malevolence again, and it seems like he is in this cursed woods, where malevolence is very high. The aura of malevolence is greatly high. So in order to survive, Sorey and the group have to escape from this forest if they are to make it out alive. And we have like these Dementor looking creatures, the Dementors from Harry Potter, following Sorey and the gang as they are trying to escape from the woods. So I was like, hey, those look like the Dementors. That's kind of funny, and we kind of get some sort of emotional moment when it comes to Rose, because she is like, I guess thinking about her past, how she first met Brad, what went down with her when it comes to her ex-lover, the one that she was going to marry. The thing is, that she can't also see Dezel, who has been her bodyguard up until this given point in time, how malevolence has also played a role in her life, and all of these bad things ended up leading to more bad things, and also, even Sorey has stated before, how many people have you killed? Because the more people you killed, you are, going to grow attached to killing more and more and more, and this is going to bring about more malevolence. So, of course, Rose is thinking about this, like, what am I really doing? Am I actually bringing justice to the world? Or am I simply doing this for revenge? So I thought that was a really cool emotional moment for Rose. These past few episodes had definitely been Rose heavy, when it comes to her characterization. And I will say this, I think season 2, when it comes down to Rose's character, is handling her a lot better than what we saw in season 1 when it comes to Alicia's character. I think that Rose is actually getting a lot more characterization with season 2. So I will say this. I will say that season 2 is doing justice to Rose's character, because we've mainly been getting focus on her character, and I really like that. But at the same time, the slow pacing of these episodes is just like, you literally want to fall asleep. I'm sorry, you want to fall asleep, at least in my opinion, at least. And we also have Sorey, the annoying character as he is, always talking about malevolence, how he wants to save the world, but at the same time, he doesn't really know what to do because, he's Sorey. He wants to be someone that can save and bring about peace throughout the lands, but at the same time, he doesn't know how to go about this malevolence, so he must train in order to quell the malevolence, but he still has questions as to how he's gonna do this. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that Sorey is just guilt-tripping everything, But yeah, When it comes down to this episode, I was a little bit iffy on, but I like Rose's characterization that she has been receiving in this episode, and also from what she has been getting in Season 2, since mainly this season has mainly been Rose, driven when it comes to her characterization. So I am liking that bit when it comes to Season 2. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about this episode in the comments down below. Did you think it was good? Were you falling asleep? Just like, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.